I'm Akhenaten, The Golden Horizon, by Macaulay Naki. Welcome to Divine Oracle, Unwritten Words Behind My Novel. This audio essay series serves as the historical ledger, the structural laboratory, and the deep research chronicle behind the architecture of my historical novels. In this episode, we shift our gaze to ancient Egypt and the life of one of the most fascinating pharaohs of the 18th dynasty, Akhenaten. Golden Horizon. The Golden Horizon series delves into the life of a young prince who would eventually become Amenhotep IV, the 10th pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, later known as Akhenaten. The unexpected death of his elder brother, the Crown Prince, thrust this young prince into the direct line of succession, setting in motion the necessary preparations for his ascension to the throne. In ancient Egypt, being born a pharaoh's son or daughter did not automatically qualify one to rule. Extensive education and rigorous training were essential prerequisites. From a young age, royal children were immersed in a comprehensive curriculum that encompassed various disciplines, including the art of warfare, political strategy, languages, history, and more. This multifaceted education was designed to prepare them for the immense leadership responsibilities. However, religious training was the most demanding and crucial aspect of their preparation. If one was destined to become pharaoh, one also had to become a high priest, a master of all spiritual practices. This mastery was essential for properly worshiping and serving the gods and goddesses during their reign over the Great Nile. A pharaoh's role was not merely political, but deeply intertwined with the divine. They needed to understand how to please the deities, work in harmony with them, and ideally become their favored representative on earth. This religious training was demanding and lengthy, requiring deep study of sacred texts, mastery of rituals, and an understanding of the complex relationships within the Egyptian pantheon. A predecessor designates their successor to sit upon the throne and rule Upper and Lower Egypt. Unfortunately, it isn't that straightforward. The true power behind the selection of the next great pharaoh lies elsewhere. It is Amun. They are invisible. Amun. They are hidden. The world of gods and goddesses, unseen by mortal eyes, observes and judges each potential successor, determining their worthiness to become the next pharaoh. One must undergo initiations and trials delivered by these divine beings. To ascend to the throne, one must also ascend to meet one's ancestors, the gods, and the Creator. This journey requires a guide, someone who understands the realms of Amun, the invisible world. This guide must be someone favored by the gods and goddesses, individuals sometimes referred to as demigods or servants of the god. Only such a guide can lead the future pharaoh to become a living god approved by Amun. In essence, Amun must be satisfied. The young prince was given a name that reflected this crucial requirement, Amenhotep, meaning Amun is satisfied. But how does one know when Amun is indeed satisfied? One is taken to places never before seen, places beyond human imagination. One encounters gods and goddesses who embody themselves within the chosen individual. Only when these deities come alive within, when their power courses through the aspirant's very being, will they see the golden horizon with their own eyes, and then, and only then, will they meet Amun. That is the ultimate sign, the undeniable proof of divine approval. About pharaonic ascension, I'm Akhenaten. Let me start by outlining the storyline of my upcoming historical novel, I Am Akhenaten, Golden Horizon, set in New Kingdom, Egypt. The novel focuses on Amenhotep IV, the 10th pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, later known to history as Akhenaten, and explores his complex relationship with his mentor, guide, and lover, the vizier Pharaoh. But to fully immerse yourself in their world, we first need to step back and look at the dramatic historical context of the era. Amenhotep IV would later change his name to Akhenaten and father the boy king, Tutankhamun. Akhenaten completely upended the Egyptian religious system, dismantling the old pantheon, to establish the world's first recorded state monotheism, centered on the sun disk, the Aten. After his death, his young son Tutankhamun restored the traditional religion. Akhenaten remains one of history's most controversial and enigmatic pharaohs, so much so that he and his immediate family were branded as heretics, and their names were systematically chiseled away from the official royal stone king lists. Akhenaten, originally Amenhotep IV, was a younger son of Pharaoh Amenhotep III, and his chief wife, Queen Tia. He was born into an Egypt steeped in traditional religious and political structures, with the powerful priesthood of Amun holding significant influence. The name itself is crucial to understanding Akhenaten's story. He and his father, Amenhotep III, shared the birth name Amenhotep. Amenhotep III was the father, the pharaoh preceding Akhenaten. Amenhotep IV was Akhenaten's birth name, and he was used as a prince in the early years of his reign. Amenhotep means Amun is satisfied, highlighting the prominence of the god Amun in Egyptian religion. Later in his reign, Amenhotep IV famously changed his name to Akhenaten, meaning effective for Aten, or servant of the Aten. This pivotal act reflected his radical religious reforms. The elevation of the Aten, the sun disk, to the supreme deity and the suppression of other cults, including that of Amun. In short, birth name Amenhotep, father and son. Later name Akhenaten, adopted during his reign. This name change is crucial in understanding the religious and political upheaval that characterized Akhenaten's reign. Amenhotep, meaning Amun is satisfied, underscores the central role of this deity in Egyptian life. Amun, whose name translates to the hidden one or the invisible, was a god of immense power and mystery. Initially, he was depicted with red-brown skin, a representation possibly linked to earth or human flesh. However, following the Amarna period, a significant religious upheaval, initiated by Akhenaten, led to a change in Amun's representation, as he began to be illustrated with blue skin. This shift in iconography symbolized his connection to the air, the vast expanse of the sky, and the primeval waters of creation, thereby linking him to the very origins of the cosmos. Amun was not a static figure. He often syncretized with other deities, merging their attributes and expanding his sphere of influence. Amun was also depicted in a wide variety of other forms, including Amun-Ra. Amun. Rehorakti was, in turn, identified with Amun. He appeared as Amun-Ra, a fusion of the sun god Ra and the hidden strength of Amun, radiating the sun Z energy. He was also referred to as Amun-Men, embodying the traits of Men, the god of fertility, virility, and harvest. Rehorakti, another solar deity symbolizing the rising sun, was associated with Amun, further reinforcing Amun's status as a supreme and multifaceted god. This tendency to combine with other deities made Amun an exceptionally complex and influential figure within the Egyptian pantheon. Much of Akhenaten's life as Prince Amenhotep remains shrouded in mystery. Egyptologists possess limited information about this period. Some historians suggest that the king's son, Amenhotep, was born before his father Amenhotep III's 25th regnal year, estimating his birth around 1363 to 1361 BC at the Malkata Palace. Others propose a Memphis birthplace, indicating that he grew up under the influence of worshipping the sun god Ra, which was particularly prominent at nearby Heliopolis. The Malkata Palace, built in the 14th century BC, was initially named Powe, meaning House of Rejoicing. Interestingly, it was also initially called the Palace of the Dazzling Aten. This detail is significant, suggesting that the young prince grew up closely associated with the concept of the dazzling Aten. This factor could have played a crucial role in his later decision to change his name and elevate the Aten to the supreme deity. The Aten, symbolizing the sun's Z disk, was initially considered an aspect of Ra, the established sun god in traditional ancient Egyptian religion. Ra's cult was already widespread and deeply ingrained throughout Egypt, making it likely that the young prince encountered solar worship, even if he didn't spend his formative years in Heliopolis. From Amenhotep, Amun is satisfied, honoring the hidden or invisible god, to Akhenaten, effective for the Aten or servant of the Aten. This name change holds the key to history's greatest religious upheaval. Why did Prince Amenhotep change his name and radically dismantle the traditional polytheistic pantheon in favor of absolute monotheism? This was not a hierarchical system with the Aten sitting at the apex of a pyramid above lesser gods. The Aten stood alone. This can be interpreted as Akhenaten's intent to bypass the corrupting power of the traditional temple priesthoods. It was a bold declaration. The Aten was the sole divine force, and the king himself was the only living god, requiring the citizenry to worship the divine through him alone. What was this supreme god, the Aten? Simply the physical solar disk? The Golden Horizon explores this fundamental concept regarding their gods and the underworld. To understand his internal transformation from the second son of Amenhotep III into a co-ruler sharing the throne, we must recognize that Prince Amenhotep underwent rigorous religious education and training to commune with the unseen, hidden worlds of gods and goddesses. To become pharaoh, coronation by his father was not enough. The son had to be spiritually forged to match the office. What was the true meaning, and what were the staggering demands of uniting and ruling over the two lands of Upper and Lower Egypt? Step back in time to the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt's New Kingdom, entering the grand house of Pharaoh Amenhotep III and his majestic palace, the dazzling Aten, to uncover the mysterious power of the pharaonic ascension ritual. New episodes drop from time to time, leading up to the epic conclusion of this mysterious ascension journey to become the pharaoh of the lands of the Upper and Lower Nile. Each chapter delivers a tight, hyper-focused 15 to 45-minute cinematic historical drama set across ancient Egypt, from Memphis to Thebes, Saqqara, Aswan, to the Valley of the Kings, and the ultimate destination, the land of Aten, where the sun disk rises. Your perfect escape into ancient Egypt's mysteries, legends, underworld, and high magic, woven with a touch of romance and diversity. Experience more. Watch the cinematic video trailer. Listen to the full novel now. Curated playlists. Golden Horizon playlist. Crimson Rose playlist. Blue Dolphins playlist. A Great Argead Saga, Alexine, Volume 1, Telesius playlist, Volume 2, Sacred Band playlist. Divine Oracle Unwritten Words Behind My Novel playlist. Subscribe to follow this unexpected ritual journey of a young prince as he rises to become pharaoh and transforms into Akhenaten. Comment below.